All right, it's the third take of this video. It's week 18, 2025, and I had 5 lessons this week, starting with the productivity lesson, where I analyzed my past 4 months of productivity, energy levels, and stress metrics, and I saw a clear pattern where when I was in the most stressful period, when I was like pretty stressed, um, the productivity went down and the energy levels went down. And yeah, you feel horrible, right? But, anyways, that is not benefiting the business. So that's what I'm taking it out here and talking about it because it's very important. And so, what I noticed basically is that if I'm very less stressed, then my productivity is in the middle. If I'm super stressed, then the productivity goes down, boom. And if I'm somewhat stressed, not too much, then I'm like super productive. And that's the optimal range, which is very interesting and kind of surprising. Yeah, lesson is stress is good for you, but too much of it will destroy you without you noticing it. And so keep your stress levels at optimal to achieve whatever you have to achieve. The steps are measure weekly your energy levels, your stress levels, and your productivity levels, and then see what is the optimal range. Once you know that, then you keep your stress level on the most optimal range. Then about decision making, yeah. So I hired someone, and I didn't calculate the most like uncomfortable opportunity cost. I calculated many opportunity cost like scenarios of that, but there's one thing I missed, which was me doing the work. And I was reasoning about it, so that like I won't have time, but I might have had time. So why not to calculate? You have to calculate it. So I learned that you have to use 10 minutes per potential 1 month of involvement. So each month will be like 10 minutes you calculate for that, for the opportunity cost. And you use 45 of the best scenarios that you could have. The most probable scenarios, right? Steps. When calculating the opportunity cost, take 4 to 5 the most probable scenarios and calculate each with time constraint of 10 minutes per each month of involvement. Then about meetings. Yeah, so I have meetings, right? And I noticed that there was a time where I was like, yeah, I don't know if we need this meeting. Anyways, we had the meeting, and I realized that the person was not aligned at all. Like we were supposed to go here. In my mind, I'm not blaming them. I'm blaming myself. We were supposed to go here, and he was going here. And I'm so happy that we got the meeting and he got back here, right? And so I realized that it's a tendency, a natural tendency and bias to think that, well, yeah, we're in sync. We don't need a meeting, but well, you do. A lesson is getting sync more often than you think is necessary. Use double of what you think is needed to address the problems before they become problems. And so, yeah, ask how often I think I should have and get in sync meetings with this specific person or something like that. Then, if it once a month, do it twice a month. And then, once the meeting is, keep it like super dense, intense also, and no bullshit. And about learning, so this was very interesting for me. I spent 3 days on debugging one thing, and I was like, "What the heck is happening?" I couldn't like understand what was wrong with it. And then one morning, I woke up at 3:30 because I had a deadline that day. And no, I woke up at 3. And at 3:30, I think I had it working. What happened? I used 3 days and now it was 30 minutes. How could I do that? Well, how I did it was that I made it very visual. So I could see all the steps. And for the 3 days, I used numbers. But now I used visuals. Visuals, a lot of visuals. And then I was able to debug it. Why is that? It's because I think I'm a visual person. And I'm a very visual person. I like visuals. And they help me to understand a lot. I know people who are kind of a math person. I'm more like a physics person. So that works for me. So lesson is, if you think visually, then you also learn visually. And doing it visually as well for problem solving is the best approach for you. So that was huge to realize that. And the steps are: solve a problem. Remember that you're a visual person. Then add as much visual things as you can to all of the relevant parts to understand it. And then visualize it in your mind and see multiple possibilities on what is happening and what should happen, you know? Super. Then I have 2 more. But these both are kind of the same. So the first one I will go through briefly. This is tough. So yeah, hard again, and I didn't define the incentives very clearly. And so I had like this outcome in my mind. I was like, I want this, and then I said like, I want this, but there was no incentives to motivate them to do that, right? So they didn't do that, and they delivered pretty bad solution. So lesson is, if you hire, the outcome that you want must be measurable, understandable, and directly attached to the incentives of the person who you're hiring, so that they can draw the connection in their mind to the incentives and then understand, okay, so to achieve to get that thing, right? And it's extremely important. The steps are: spend time defining specifically on what you want, like exactly. Not just like specifically, but exactly what you want. And do not expect that they will like figure it out, you know? They cannot read your mind. You have to explain it extremely clearly. Think multiple possibilities on how the incentives... Think multiple on how to... Oh, yeah. So think multiple possibilities on how to incentivize the outcome so strongly that it will happen. Clearly define the incentives on paper with the deliverables on what you have to do to get the thing. Explain their connection and make sure that they understood it. So you have to make them explain it back or something like that. Okay, the last one is about again, outsourcing. All right. Yeah, I hired someone by hour. First mistake. Not a specialist in the specific thing that I wanted. Second mistake. In the didn't have clear incentives. Third mistake. A lot of mistakes. Okay, not gonna go dive deep into the story, but lesson is, don't outsource to generalists with hourly pay. Focus on fixed contracts with extremely clear deliverables and incentives that they directly can draw the connection with the deliverables to get the incentives. And use only specialists who've done it before. The steps are: define clearly what you want. Then be even more clear on what is the outcome that you want. And then 3, create incentives that are directly attached to the outcome that you want and will motivate the other party to achieve your goals. And then hire a specialist that has a track record in the niche that you are doing it, to increase the likelihood of success.